Welcome to Barbados Fertility Centre's injection instruction, teaching for mixing your Menopur injection. It can be a little bit tricky, so the most important thing with this injection is to take your time. This injection is done once a day, every evening at approximately the same time. Keep it as close to the original time as possible, whether it's 6 p.m, 8 p.m, 10 p.m, it doesn't matter, as long as it's every evening around the same time. And most importantly, put some time aside for this injection. So, the medication comes as a powder and also as a water. The water is simply sterile solution for dilution. It's the powder that is the medication. And each one of those powder vials is 75 international units. Your nurse coordinator will have told you what dosage you're on. You could be on 225, 300 international units, all the way up to 600 international units. And she will tell you what dose you will be taking. So let's use the example of 300 international units. If each vial is 75, to get 300, you'll need to use 4 powders. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Regardless of how many powders you're using, whether you're using 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, which is the maximum stimulation, you will only ever use 1 water for dilution. That's very important. You will have a lot of waters left over for discarding. Just throw them away. So you're going to take out your 1 water. The first and most important thing is to be sure that all the water is down, because water does get trapped up in the top of the vial. So give it a flick until the water is down. On the front of the vial there is a blue dot, and that shows where the weakness of the glass is. So you want to hold it with the blue dot facing your nose. Put your thumb on the blue dot and don't squeeze it or you'll shatter the glass. It's simply a push-back action. Okay? If you want, you can wrap something around it and push it back, but it's very easy to pop back as long as you don't squeeze it. If you break it, don't panic. You've got lots of spare waters, so just open another one. To do this injection, you're going to be using a bigger syringe with a long green needle, and this is for the mixing process. When you open it up, it looks like this. This can become loose in the packet, so be sure you tighten it on nicely, okay? These are twist on, twist off mechanisms. So you're going to uncap the needle. Don't panic, this is not the one you use for the injection, just for the mixing. So, at the top of every needle there's what we call a bevel, which is a flat part to the needle. And that bevel must always be turned down against the edge of the glass to be sure that you get every drop. So you're going to put your bevel down against the bottom of the glass, and using your right hand you're going to draw back all of the water solution, being sure you get every drop. Once the water is drawn up, you're going to go to the first powder. You'll have flicked off all these blue caps, and this is one that we're going to prepare with. So you're going to take your first powder. You're going to push your needle through the rubber stopper, and you're going to inject the water into the first powder. The powder dissolves instantly. You don't need to shake it, mix it or anything. Push your fluid in nice and slowly, not too quickly or it'll bubble up. Find the bevel of your needle and bend the needle. It won't break. Bend the needle right down to the bottom at an angle and draw back up the medication, taking your time to be sure that you get every drop. Pull out your needle. Check that you have every drop. There can be a vacuum in the bottle and it can suck it back in, so when you're drawing it out, do hold the pressure at this level here. And then you go to your next powder, inject it all in, draw it back out. Go to your next powder, inject it back in, draw it back out. And the 1 water goes in and out of how many powders you're on, as per your nurse coordinator, until all vials are dissolved and drawn up. At the end, draw back. You don't want to lose any of this very important medication in this big needle here, because as you go along, it is very important you get every drop. Take your cap, pop it back on, and twist off your big needle. You're going to open your small subcutaneous needle, which looks like this. Twist it on nice and tightly and pull off the cap. So, to prime the needle, you're going to flick your air. Air will always rise to the top, so point it up to the sky and push your air out. Nice and gently, you don't want to waste any. You're going to push your air out until you see that drop of medication on the needle tip. And now you're ready for the injection because all the air is out. To do this injection, just like the buserelin, this is a subcutaneous injection. You go in the fatty tissue under your skin. We're going to do this injection in our thigh also. Remember to alternate your injection sites so that one area doesn't get sore. It is a higher volume and it is a hormone, so it can irritate the nerve endings. So if it does burn or sting a little bit more than the other injections, that's normal. Don't panic. To do the injection, wipe with your alcohol pad, pinch, insert it at a 90-degree angle, which is straight in, till all the needle goes in. Push on the plunger till all your medication is injected and pull your needle out. When you pull out the needle, you might get a drip of blood, you might get a drip of medication. It's no big deal. It looks more than it is. Just give it a rub. That will aid distribution of the medication under the skin. Good luck with the injection.